Hi everyone, hello, I think we are live, and right now what I'm trying to do is to share this with as many people as we can. I want to give a shout out to Jenny who actually instigated this session, and right now just a few minutes as we share. Let us know where you are calling in from and you're joining us from. And I'm just encouraging you as much as you can, share this, share as much as you can. And today we're going to be addressing mental wellness for women who are maxed out. So let's see, this is so good. I am so excited about this. Yeah, and whilst you're here, yeah, let your friends know. I can see you guys coming in. Let your friends know that we are here. And what are we? I'm just trying to. Yeah, come on, let's do this. Let's keep doing this. Let's keep sharing. Thank you and welcome. Keep coming on. So this is the ultimate self-care strategy for women who are maxed out, right? And as you know, the stresses of life are many. And chances are you think, and you know that if these stresses weren't there, you would probably be experiencing a healthier, a happier, and wealthier life. Now, yay. Thank you guys for coming on. I can see you streaming in. Just this moment, try and share this out. Share this out. Let's keep sharing. Let's share this. Yeah, what I'm trying to do, because I'm doing it all by myself here, right? So I will change. It's happening now. Yes, it's happening now. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for thank you for joining us. I can see you. Jenny. Thanks for suggesting this topic, right? Please share with your group. Now, once again, I want to give a shout out to Jenny. She is one of the founders or co-founders of Kenya Women in Germany. And we were having discussions about the pandemic of mental health problems. And we thought, really, why not share, like strategies that we know can work? Because I think we are losing a lot of women. And like I shared earlier, we are losing a lot of women to real death, and some of them to the death before the real death. And that's, death is not a good thing, right? For someone to actually take their own life because of the stresses or the problems, it's not nice, because that's a lot of potential lost. But there's also another death that happens before the main death, and that's the death of self, the death of your dreams, the death of, when when you truly know you're a shadow of the person you really should be, right? So that's why today we are going to be talking about the sustainable self-care strategy, right? So what I'll do right now, actually, because I want you to be able to come back and re-listen to this session, I'm going to start recording so that you have access to this. And I am so excited, and so that we don't waste so much of your time, first of all, just drop a yes and let us know where you're calling from. And as we continue to share this, I'm going to share to my story, and I'm asking you please to share it. Share it, share it, share it. Yes, come on, share it. Thank you, guys. Thank you for sharing this. I can see you. Let's see. I'm sharing to my other groups as well. And it's sustainable, right? Sustainable self-care strategy session. Gosh, I am so excited. I was looking at the content and thinking, oh my God, this is so mind-blowing. This is so good. And this is going to bless so many people. And right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. And I would share as well to our Raising Remarkable Teenagers group. And the reason I ask you to share is so that we can reach as many people as we can. So let's kick off, right? Let's kick this off. No, guys, let me be 100% real. You know, obviously I'm having to do this on a Saturday all alone. All my people are not here, so I'm having to do the whole tech and everything alone, but it's all good because we can crack this. Part of self-care actually is not beating yourself up for things or for fact that everything is not going perfectly. In fact, things don't have to go perfectly for life to carry on. So I am excited. Let's do this, right? Inner. One more share, and then we will hit record, and then we will hit record, and then I start sharing the content that I have prepared for you. Right. So right, so guys, thank you so much for hanging in there with me. And I will begin now. Well, officially begin now, but I'll officially begin now, and let's do this. And that means I'm going to hit the record button so that I can share this with you later. So if you're watching on replay, you're able to grab a hold of everything that we've talked about. Hey everyone, and welcome to today's session. And today's session is sustainable self-care. And this particular session is the ultimate, and I call it the ultimate sustainable self-care strategy, because what you are going to hear today is something you probably have heard before, but possibly never implemented or didn't know how to implement. And this particular program or session was actually suggested by a good friend of mine, and I'm so thankful for you, Jenny. you know yourself there, and you're the what are you, the coordinator, right? the co-founder of Kenya Women in Germany. I am so proud of you, of the work that you're doing, and of the care that you have for the community. And because of your suggestion, we actually came up with this session. So giving credit where credit belongs. And so today I'm going to start by letting you know that this particular session is for overwhelmed, maxed out moms, right? Mothers who often feel empty. But you know within yourself, you want better mental wellness. You want better physical wellness. You want to have better spiritual wellness so that you can fulfill your destiny and actually enjoy your life. You and I know that it is so hard to enjoy life when you're experiencing the stress and the mental mayhem. So today you are in absolute luck, because I'm going to be covering, I don't know if I should share my slides with you or not. Let me know what you would like. Let me see what you would like. By the way, there are not many, because I hardly use slides. I prefer to do this straight connection with you so that you can feel me, so I can also feel you, right? But sometimes it's important because, for example, I'll be presenting some statistics, and sometimes it's important to actually see. Before we go, I want to say that you can have access to these slides after the session. Just let me know. I'll give you my contact details. Let me know if you would like the slides to this presentation. And what I'm even thinking, I might just actually drop it in the down here on the link, so that you have straight access to it, so that when you're watching, if you're rewatching, right, especially those who are going to be watching the replay, you have a script, you have something that you're following, you have something that you're probably writing notes on, right? So first question: how many of you know that without the many stresses and stresses in life, you would be living a healthier, happier, even a wealthier life? How many of you know that? Drop a yes for me here. In essence, you know deep in your heart that without all these stresses, right, you'd shine, you would thrive, you would fulfill your destiny. How many of you know that? Just write me on there. Just drop a me, right? Just drop a me, right? Now, my question to you today is, are you ready to learn to eliminate these stresses with a sustainable self-care strategy? If you feel you're ready, I want you to drop "I am ready" on this chat. Just drop "I am ready." Wherever you're watching, just drop. If you're watching on any of our platforms, just say "I am ready," right? Thank you so much. I'm excited. I am so excited to be here with you now. From the onset, on this session, Sustainable Self-Care Strategy, you're going to learn 4 things. And I think at this point, I want to share my slide. And the reason I want to share my slide is so that you can even take a screenshot, right? I think I want to share this one. Let me share this so you can take a screenshot. Just give me a sec. Thank you very much. Let me share this. I will share this. Yeah. There we go. Can you see that? Yeah. Can you see that? Sustainable self-care strategy. And this is what you will learn. The truth about mental health, and also This includes the scary statistics of mental health problems. Number 2, you will learn the greatest danger in today's information age. The greatest danger, right? So what's that danger? You'll soon find out. Number 3 is 3 tragic ways that destroy our mental health. Gosh, I can't wait to present that particular section because it is so eye-opening. This section is where a lot of women, a lot of mothers get their aha moments. And then the 4th is the sustainable self-care strategy implementation tool, right? And I will explain why this is so important, right? This reflection is so important because as you begin to implement the ideas that I will be speaking to you about, you will know that it is important to reflect, to monitor, right? So let's do this, right? So I have the 4. I want to talk to us first, like I said, about the truth about mental health. A lot of people confuse mental health with mental problems. Actually, mental health is our own psychological health, which, as you will find out as we speak about this sustainable self-care strategy, it's very connected with our physical health as well. So mental health is a spectrum. It means that on one side, you could be mentally well, and then on the other side of the spectrum, you are mentally ill. And this is where the mental health problems are. So there's mental wellness, mentally healthy, and then when you're having mental problems. So it's a spectrum. Think about a spectrum. So it starts from green, and then it goes, and the green is slowly turning into red. And all of us at one point or another, because of the stresses of life, can experience or can tip to the mental health problem side. And it's a topic I believe that we need to talk about, and it's a topic that we cannot afford to ignore, especially because in a moment, I'm going to be showing you the statistics and indeed the pandemic nature of mental health problems. Mental health problems. So the first thing, and I believe that we have covered that one now, is that I have been able to distinguish, for those of you that may not know, that mental health is a spectrum. So you can be mentally well or mentally ill, and you can be anywhere on this spectrum. And the reason we are talking about sustainable self-care strategy is to, as much as we can, keep ourselves on the green side, no matter the stresses that come in our lives, or no matter the stresses that we are having in our lives, right? So, the scary statistics. Are you ready? I think on this one, I'm going to share a slide as well, although the slide is quite small because there was a lot of data. But what I'll do, I'll quickly show it to you. But then I want you to request for these slides so that you can actually see for yourself. I think it's going to be very important for you to see for yourself. But for the purpose of today, I'm going to share I'm going to share the slide, right? Right. So there we go. Let me share. Right. Once again, I'm sharing. Right. These statistics, right? These statistics are from the health metrics and evaluation. You know, these are, as you can see, I don't know if you can see, but let's lean in and try and see actually, right? Because think about this as a session where we are actually we're actually learning and growing together. So I want you to not just be a recipient, but I want you to be involved, like properly. When I say let's look at this, I want you to look at that, right? Because there is something about actually engaging in learning that makes you retain the information more. And that is what we are here to do. We are here to garner credible information, right? And and by the way, something is coming up. Something is coming up. Guess what's coming up? What's coming up is a reminder for me to introduce myself. Oh my goodness. Do you know what? I thought we were just carrying on, you know, from the other conversations that we were having today. And I think because I've introduced myself so many times today, I thought I had. So, but for those of you that don't know me, my name is Angela Karanja, and I am a world-renowned psychologist, and I'm a best-selling author, and I'm excited to be your host today on this sustainable self-care strategy session, right? So let's lean in. Let's lean in and listen, right? So the slide I'm sharing is from the Institute of Health Metrics and Evaluation, and this is their flagship report of a global burden of disease and of disease study, right? So as you can see, I'll stop sharing so I can chat with you. But what are the statistics? The number of people with any sort of mental health disorder around the world is 792 million. And that is about 10.7% of the whole world. And here is the kicker. Let me say something. And these statistics that you're listening to right now, this was done in 2017. And you and I know in the last few years, we've had the pandemic, which heightened and worsened things. So the current number, what we are expecting with the new statistics that will be coming in, we expect this number to get even higher. And this is why, as women, we need to listen. Of this 7.92 million people, most of them are women. Most of them are women. We have 11.9. If you go back to the slide that I just shared, and again, I want you to download this later on so that you can look through and also just engage in it and see the seriousness of this matter, right? 10.7% of the whole world. And these statistics were done in 2017. And we know that with the COVID pandemic, the number has rocketed. We are yet to get all of the statistics, but what we know is happening is that the number has risen. Now, I'll quickly go through the mental disorders, just so that we don't waste time on this, because the main thing is, yes, we've got the scary statistics, but I'm sure you're asking yourself, how do we develop a sustainable self-care regime so that these stresses of the world are not affecting you? They're not affecting me. They're not affecting our children. I'm sure that's the question you want answered. But quickly, I'm going to go through them. We have depression, anxiety disorders, and then we have anxiety disorders is the highest of them all, bipolar disorders, eating disorders, schizophrenia, others, and then we also have the ones that affect, we also have alcohol use disorders, and then we have drugs use disorders, and then we also have other mental problems, like the ones that affect the brain, like older people, Alzheimer's, and but I can say to you that Alzheimer's and dementia is no longer an old people's illness. It's catching up with the younger generation. And that's why, again, it's so important that we lean in to the information that I'm sharing, right? And so that we know, how do we mitigate? How do we separate ourselves, move ourselves, not out of this world, because we are in this world, but have an advantage over things, over the stresses that happen in our lives, right? And right there, so I am just about to talk about the 3 weights that actually push us to a tipping point. Remember, I talked about the spectrum? I talked about the spectrum, you're well, and then on this side, you're unwell. So what are these 3 weights? What is this heaviness? What is this stress that attacks us or weighs on us so badly that we move more and tip more towards the illness instead of staying on the side of wellness? What are they? Like really, what are these? And once again, I want to share the slide again so you can see. And right, there we go. I'm feeling excited. I don't know, I'm just feeling excited for you, because as I share this information, I'm thinking, gosh, lives are being changed here. But actually, this is one thing I want to request of you, that you're not just going to be a listener, but you're going to be a doer of what we are going to be suggesting. Before I presented the statistics, I had said I would talk about one of the most dangerous things of this, like this information age, right? One of the most dangerous things that we have found in this, in this information age, is that people think because they know something that they are okay. Of course, you can find in fact, I'll tell you something. You can find all of the information I'm talking about somewhere in the journals, in the library, on the internet. You can find it. But then ask yourself, Why is it then, if all this information is available, why is it that people continue to become more and more stressed, more and more unwell? Why is it? That's the danger. I'm going to speak to you right now of today's information age, right? And before I share the tragic weights that I said I would share, I want us to go through to quickly speak about the gap between information or knowledge and results. At the end of the day, each one of us want to be well. We want to feel healthier, happier, wealthier. And we know, most people know what to do. But there is a gap between knowing and results. And that gap can only be filled by doing. Knowing is a theoretical understanding of something, while doing the practical application of that knowledge is what actually gives you results. And you and I know we want real world results. We want tangible results. I want to know that I am feeling well, not just to know that, oh, some people feel well and this is what they do. So hopefully by the end of this session, you will want to know, how can I move from just knowing to achieving the results by doing? What do I need to do? And I'm going to present what to do. But even with presenting what to do, we're gonna have to take action on that information so that we can get transformation. There's no two ways about it. Transformation will not happen until or unless we take the action on the information that we know, right? Now, let me share my slide on the 3 weights that I talked about. Yeah. So what are these 3 weights? Let's have a look. Can you see that? These are what I call the 3 tragic weights that are destroying our mental health. The first one is the social weight. The second one is the psychological weight. And the third one is the physical weight. Let's unpack. Yeah, let's unpack these 3 weights. Let's unpack them. When you think about stresses, when you think about what's weighing you down, don't you think that it feels so nice for actually, let's go back to, it would be so nice, right? For all of us to experience like total wellness, right? Imagine a time when you didn't have to stress about anything. Imagine a situation where whatever comes your way, you are sorted, you are well, you're okay. Imagine being in a position like that. It really is a position of power. And that's why I'm so grateful that you're here, because you are about to learn about these 3 weights, right? And once you're able to shine a torch on something, now you can say, I'm not going there. I'm not going there. I'm not going there, right? So let's talk about the social weight, right? When you think about the social weight, what is your impression when I say social weight. What is your impression of this? What do you think about? Drop me some suggestions about what you think are social weights. And these are weights that weigh us down and go on to affect our mental health. As in, it tips from being well to the side of being ill. And that being on this side is not nice. It's nasty, right? Because it truly hinders your progress. It truly, it truly takes away the life within you. So let's quickly go through these three weights. Social expectations. Do you get affected by the opinions of other people? Are you offended by the opinions of other people? Do you watch news or TV or other things that tell you should be like this and not like this, or that constantly bombard you with bad news, with news of inadequacy, with news of you're not doing well, you're not good enough, with fear? Social weight. Conflict, drama. Have you watched this? If you haven't watched this, you're not enough. Are you following this? If you're not following this, you're not enough. Do you look like this? Because if you don't look like this, you're not enough. Do you earn this amount? Because if you don't earn this amount, you're not enough. Do you have this? Do your kids have this? Because if they don't have this or they don't do this, you're not enough. Social weight. The stressor of social weight. And that's when we end up trying to do and be like everyone else, or trying to catch up, trying to do things that are beyond our limitation, beyond what we can afford, because we are trying to impress people. We lose our authenticity because of the social weight. And I'm telling you something, once one trend, you can run after this one trend today, and then tomorrow it's changed. Tomorrow it's something different. You're always on your tiptoe, rushing, no time to rest. And you and I know when we are at rest, that's when our whole body heals. When we are in a state of homeostasis, a state where everything is still, that's wellness. But a lot of people don't have that, because we are constantly thinking, what is this person thinking about me? Am I achieving what the society expects me to? And women, of course, we've been conditioned to keep it all together, right? To do beyond, like constantly racing. And then we are worn out, burnt out, maxed out. And our bodies begin to tear. Social weight. And then we begin to blame those things. Oh, it's because I'm having menopause. That's why I have all these conditions and all that. That's a topic for another day. We will go deeper into that. We begin to tell ourselves stories that we have been told by society. Social weight. Opinions of others weighing on you. Covering you so much that the true you will never truly see the light of day. Because, sorry to say, the opinions of others this way, it's like, it's like SHIT covering you. It stinks, but you're still down there. And there is more and more being poured on you. More and more being poured on you. And you never actually get to feel who you truly are, to see the light of day, to actually enjoy being you. Social way. The number 2 weight is psychological weight. And psychological weight includes beliefs that you hold, that hold you hostage, and also trauma. Some of us, some people, a lot of people have so much unresolved anger and resentment and negative emotions towards other people, or even things that happened to us, maybe when we were little, in school, in colleges, in university, and we keep holding on to those negative attitudes, criticism of self and others. When you see someone criticizing others, that's the lowest, they have lowest self-esteem, because it's impossible to criticize someone else when you feel very good about yourself. Impossible. Now, we're not saying that you cannot point, you cannot see, you cannot observe. You will observe things. But judgment, criticism, that, when you see someone spewing that, it's an indication of own criticism. They don't feel enough, because if you felt enough, you would not need to do that. You would not need to put someone down so that you can lift yourself up. Psychological weight. And beliefs, again, as women, we've been told, there's so much laden on us. There's so much laden on us. And a lot of us carry that weight, even when we know that this is no longer applicable. We carry it. And in our quietest moment, we want to release it, but we can't. Why? Because what will people say? Now we go back to the social way. Our beliefs and the society's beliefs. And unfortunately, this psychological way, it affects our bodies. And for those of you who may be wanting to learn more, I will be talking about what we call psychosomatic disorders. And these are illnesses that are based psychologically, but they manifest on your body. And when you go to see your doctor, the doctor is saying, oh, we can't understand what this is. So you're always being treated for rashes, for migraines, for stomach pains, for knee pains, for all sorts. Yet the doctors can't find the source of this, because it is based up here, psychological weight. And then the third kind of weight is physical weight, right? Truth be told, when we are carrying extra weight, it's almost impossible. In fact, it's impossible to achieve to be the happiest, healthiest, and achieve our destiny. And I know a lot of people, I do get a lot of backlash from this. And I'm the first one to say, I don't believe in body shaming, and it shouldn't be, it's nasty. But each one of us knows that there are so many illnesses, physical illnesses, that come with that extra weight. Even yourself know, even I know, there is some weight that needs to go because it's not serving me. It's exerting more pressure on me. And then sometimes when I look at can you imagine when you're not feeling well physically, it does affect you mentally as well. Here is what we know. What we eat actually affects our mental health. There's a lot of science supporting that. And again, we haven't got so much time, so I'm not going to talk about this whole thing now. But when you come to our next session, because I would like to invite you to our next session that I'll be holding at a later date, only if you are seriously committed to begin to take care of self using this sustainable self-care strategy. And I'm going to next be showing you a framework that you can begin today to begin to take care of yourself. I mean, it's not nice living in anxiety, living in depression, having eating disorders, having all these mental problems. It's not nice. The suffering is real. And if you or a member of your family is suffering, you know how draining it can be. So draining that many people choose to forget it. I'm just going to eliminate myself from this world. And what's that for? When we know there are measures we can take as interventions to help ourselves. So when we are thinking about the physical weight, I want you to think in terms of, what are you eating? How are you sleeping? Are you exercising? Now, I know this is not, again, like I said, this is not new information. I'm sure I'm not the first one to say this. But remember, I spoke about the gap between knowing and actually getting results. The transformation is here. The information is here. And along here is the action. And boy, I'm telling you, right? Or maybe I should say, woman, I'm telling you, action takes developing of habits, sustainable habits. And that's why, again, we call this session Sustainable Self-Care Strategy, because unless something becomes a habit and unless it's sustainable, you're not going to get the results. Consistency is what matters. Consistency of these actions is what matters. And that's why, again, I would like to invite you to come to our next session, because it's so frustrating when you know what to do, but don't know how to do it. And you know that this good life, this healthy, happier, wealthier, I can achieve this. You can achieve that. You can be that woman. You can be thriving. You can be shining. You can. And hopefully we can help you move from just knowing to your transformation. Essentially, what I'm saying is you can reach your goal. You can have this life that in yourself you probably envisioned when you were younger. Now that you have the information, right? And I'm actually feeling very excited. Now I'm going to share what I probably think is the last slide for today, actually. Let me grab it. No, actually, it's not the very last. It's sort of the second last, right? And I will share this. If you're wanting to screenshot it, or you've got your download it. If you've downloaded it, that would be good. Can you see it? Let me know if you can see it. There you go. It's a sustainable self-care framework. Remember, I talked about the gap between knowing. We've talked about, you have seen the scary statistics. That means of everyone that's watching and in this session, in every 10, one of us has a mental health problem. And I must say, this is one of the areas which is very underreported. Why? Especially in women, and especially even in Black women. Oh, you don't want to be seen to be weak. Admitting that I am struggling is sort of admitting that you're weak. That's not weak. Here is what I know. Everyone that succeeds, everyone that's doing very well, everyone that's exceeding and following their dream, everyone that's striving, shining, everyone that's fulfilling their destiny has had support at one point or another. And that's why we have coaches. Even I, as much as I'm doing so well mentally, physically, in my family, in my happiness, my health and wealth, I still have coaches. Why? Because we need support. There always are people who know that little bit better and they can help you take the next step. So this is our framework, sustainable self-care framework. And at the very top, you can see identify. And then you can see prioritize, then you can see boundaries, then you can see accountability, and then you see reflection. Can you see how all these circles are connected? The reason they are connected and they are ongoing and ongoing is because as human beings, no one ever arrives. And that doesn't mean that you cannot not be mentally well. You can always be better. And that's the beauty of these sessions. When you develop these sustainable self-care habits, your life begins to go and get better. Why? Because as we rise in our level of consciousness, we get new challenges. And because we have grown, I know, because we have practiced and we have developed these habits, sustainable self-care strategies, we are able to sort this new thing that comes so that it doesn't topple us. Because life is like that. We're always going to have things thrown onto us. And successful people, it's not that they don't have problems. It's not that we don't have problems. What we have are these strategies, right? New challenge, new strategy. What have I done before? Aha. What I did before was identify. I was able to identify this and then prioritize, and then boundaries and accountability, and then reflection. So we are always tackling these things. And as we do that, guess what's happening? Guess what's happening? We are becoming wider, larger, as we become healthier, wealthier, happier, we begin to influence other people by the quality of our example. I want to ask you right now, as a mother especially, did you know that our children don't listen to what we tell them? They actually listen to what they see us being. So who are you being? Who are you? And that again is why mental health problems move from generation to generation. Why? Because they are passed on. That's what the kids observed. That is what they took on. But you can break the cycle. You can decide, I'm not only going to be well for myself. I have a legacy. I have little eyes watching me. I want to be well. I will be well. And on this one, I'm going to reference one of my favorite books, the Bible. There was one time Jesus he always went around doing good, and then he goes to this well, and there was this man who had been sat there for years, a sick man, and he asked him, do you want to be well? And here is what the man said. Oh, every time I want to go to the well and dip myself, someone always goes ahead of me. And Jesus asked me, do you want to be well? Why am I telling you this story? Because we must be willing to answer, yes, I want to be well. Not bring up all the excuses for us not being unwell or for us not being well. Up to this time, what has happened? Oh, we are blaming this, blaming that, picking on that, feeling sorry ourselves, feeling victims. And if you guys have read that story, or if you haven't, I don't even know where in the book it is, but I know it's there. I'll probably drop a link for it here as reference, because I like to reference people. I like to reference my findings wherever, but it's from the Bible. And this is when he said, yes, I want to be well, Jesus said to him, get up, pick your mat and go. Get up, pick up your mat and go. See, he had to come to a point, yes, I am ready, I am committed to do this. And then he had to take the action, pick up your mat. I don't know what kind of a mat that was. Maybe it was a stinking mat, or I don't know how. When I envision this, I always think in terms of a lot of homeless people that I see around. Sometimes they have these sleeping bags, and then they have a lot of things in it. So you have to pick up that whole stuff and then walk and go. Exercise your faith, do something. And this is why we have this framework, because it will require, actually, let me stop sharing now. I should have stopped sharing earlier, but anyway, it's okay. It's all good, right? So the question is for you, do you want to be well? Do you want your family to be well? And if that answer is yes, I'm inviting you to come to this and enjoy this and implement this framework, right? This 5-step cyclical framework that I have shown you, that I have shared with you, right? I'm inviting you to be able to identify, and I'll go quickly through what's in each section so that you have sort of a basis, sort of an understanding, and then we will come to a sort of a stop. When we say identify, I want you to actually sit down and identify the stresses. What is it that stresses you? Make a list of things, like literally. Remember, get up and walk. You have to do something, right? You get up and walk, right? The stresses. Think about what, write them down. What is this that stresses me? Work, family responsibility. Again, I want you to look at the weights that we have talked about. Be very honest with yourself, because change requires honesty. Honesty above all with yourself. Because without honesty and authenticity of self, you will not make any headway or progress. You won't. Because I want you to write it down. I want you to imagine if you're a driver. If your car was running low on gas, on fuel, and you can see the sign up there. One of the things you'd have to mental note is, I have to fuel. You have to acknowledge my fuel is down and I'm going to have to fuel. So I want you to identify those stresses and be very honest with yourself. This is your self-work. And then I want you to honestly decide, I am going to prioritize my self-care. Because here is the thing. All these people that you're running around for, if you're stressed and have nothing to give and you're empty, you end up giving things to them that are not nice. You're irritable. You've got nothing to give apart from possibly bile, right? And that's not what we want. I don't think any one of us, and then you begin to resent people because they are draining you. You feel they're draining you. So you have to really say, I'm going to prioritize my self-care, right? And then actually make a schedule. And a lot of people, when I talk about self-care, they think, oh, Angela, you say that because you can go to the spa and everything. And I want you to pause right there. I've talked about the 3 weights that weigh us down. Which one of those costs money? Which one of those involves you going to a spa? Which one of those involves you going to do your nails? Which one of those involves any of that? None of them. All these weights, all it requires is for you to drop it. And now I'm not suggesting that dropping these weights is easy, because as a psychologist, I know that it can be hard to change habits and beliefs that we have held strong for a long time. But I'm going to come to that and show you how you can do that. So really prioritize, decide this is important to me. And then remember there was a B, boundaries. You're going to have to develop very firm, fair, and follow up boundaries. And what do I mean by that? Firm boundaries mean this is so clear, This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm not going to do. This is who I'm going to be. This is who I'm not going to be. And includes fair, right? When we talk about fair, unfortunately, fairness, especially for women, it has been skewed, right? So a lot of women that I come across, you take the bulk of the work, especially at home, right? But ask yourself, and in fact, you might want to sit with your whole family and talk about fairness. Is this fair? Is it fair that you're burdened with all that? Is it fair? And then come up with a solution. So firm, fair, and then follow up, keep to it. And I want to warn you, when you begin to put down firm and fair boundaries, those people who have benefited from you being their slave are going to get their knives fingers out, because the privileges are gone. The slave is no longer willing to do the work they did, to pick up after them. It's not easy, but here is how you can get help. The fourth part of the framework is accountability. When you begin to do this work, do it with someone in a community, with a friend. Tell them what you're doing. And if you know that the community or the people you hang around with are not that safe for you to share this kind of information, you can join our community where we have women who are committed to self-care, right? And these women are doing exploits. Why? Because when you begin to take good care of yourself, you not only become healed and whole, healthy, happier, you begin to become wealthier. And then you're able to pour and bless your family, the community, the whole world. Accountability is very important. And remember, we are developing new habits. And we know, as a psychologist, I'll tell you, it takes about 63 days for you to develop a habit. 63 days. And that's why when we begin to work with you, there's a lot of grace, because we know there's a lot of renewing of the mind. There is a lot of shedding of old skin. You know, there's a lot of shedding of old white. You know, again, I want to reference the Bible again. It says, don't put new wine into old skin. It's not going to work. It can't hold it. So we have to renew our mind, hang out with people, accountability partners, people who are willing to hold you accountable for your own growth. And that's what coaches do. And that's why every successful person in any area of life has a coach, right? Maybe a lot of people don't talk openly about it, but we do. Because, like I said, to take that next step of progress, you don't do it alone. You can't do it alone. We need the person, especially, I mean, yesterday, actually, I posted something on my Facebook, and it said, and I was talking about speakers, right? A lot of us like to listen to speakers, and a lot of speakers are powerful. And what I said was, there are two kinds of speakers. In my experience, the one kind of speaker are those people who tell their story. You tell their story, you tell your story, and that story is powerful. A story of triumph, a story of overcoming. And those stories can be very empowering. And all of us, I can tell you, we have stories. And I think as you hang out with us a bit more in our, if you come to our coaching program, you will hear a lot of my own personal stories, right? Let's go back to the two types of speakers. Then there is the second kind of speakers who help you change your story. The first one tell their story. The second one help you change your story. Believe me, I'm all for telling our own personal stories, and I do tell those stories. But what gives me most joy is to be able to not only tell my story, but to help other women change their stories, especially when they're stuck in situations, when they're stuck in a less than life, right? No one needs to be there. And I can tell you, you don't have to. I have been stuck in many situations. I've been stuck. But then with the help of someone, I got unstuck. And then I moved to the next level. And that's what we want to do. Right? And then the last part of the framework is monitoring progress or reflection. Reflection is so important in any personal growth. Why? Because I'll tell you from personal experience and from working with thousands of young people and mothers, that growth is not linear. Growth is not linear. It's not a step ladder, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not like that. Instead, here is what we have. 1, 2, 3, then 1 back. And then tomorrow, half 1 up. Then the next day, 2 down. Then, or even it's just, there is actually with this, I've just remembered there is a little clip that I saw about growth. And I thought this is so instrumental. And what I'll do is, if you request to come to our next session, I will share that in that next session. And literally what it shows is how growth is very zigzag and multidimensional. And what it requires is, and that's all, is that we don't judge ourselves harshly. We are not filled with shame or guilt, right? The space we have is a safe space where we make mistakes, but we keep moving on. Because I'll tell you something, recalibrating your brain after it has been used to doing something or reacting in a certain way, and now you have to learn to react in a different way or to respond in a different way. It's like an addiction. And that's why I'll give you a quick example before we come to Binder. Why is it that when you decide, I'm going to stop eating sugar, your body goes into like it's like a panic state? No, you're not denying this thing that is so bad for us, yet we want to keep it. I don't care what or where you have learned that sugar is bad, but the body is used to it, and the body is saying, give me the sugar. You'll even get headaches. You'll even, all sorts of fight is going through you. Why? Because the roots, you're trying to uproot roots that are deeply embedded into almost every cell of your body. And now you're saying no to that. And there'll be uproar. but you stick with it. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. And then the body begins to say, actually, it's okay. We can have a new way. So what's the new way? Teach us the new way. So you become the master of your body, right? So I'm not in any way saying changing habits is easy, but we have to get to a point where we truly are the masters of ourselves. These weights, I talked about the social weight, the psychological weight, and the physical weight. We have to know that we are the masters, and then do whatever it takes to make sure that we get rid of them and are only entertaining what is good. Again, I'll go back to, I think there's the good book again says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. It all starts from here. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Renewing of your mind takes not only learning this information, but the doing, practicing, forming these new habits, right? So you guys, I'm so excited to have been honored to present this. And I hope I have served you in the best way possible. And I hope I have fulfilled the promise I made at the beginning that I was going to share about mental health and what it is and what it is not, the statistics about mental health problems. And I shared about the gap between information and transformation. And that's the doing, the action bit. And it's actually the most challenging, but with a good mentor, with a good coach, you can get your transformation. And what's your transformation at the moment? We want to be well. We want to be able to shine and thrive and fulfill our destinies as women, right? Because we are called for a higher calling. We are called, I'll say like Hester, for such a time as this. There is a space that you're supposed to make a shift. But because of these 3 weights I talked about, it's just not happening. But this can stop. Because you've heard the information I've shared. And I know because you're here, you are committed to taking action so you can get your transformation. I also shared the framework, right? So I hope that I have served you well today. Now, what I'll do right now is that I'll share the very, very sort of last slide where I am inviting you to come to, I'll be giving you the contacts and really inviting you to come to our next step where you actually begin to practice the ideas that we have talked about. Yeah, so quickly I'll leave this one here. Now, if you are truly committed to implementing and experiencing tangible results with our sustainable self-care strategy, I want you to email me at angie@raisingremarkableteenagers.com, or you can WhatsApp me on there. As you can see, it's +44 7385 915 862. I'll leave this one up here for a moment so that you can write that down. Once again, I really and truly honor you for spending this time with me today. And I believe that I have served you in the highest way possible. If you want more, if you want to work with us, those are our contact details. And as you write these down, I want you to ask yourself, who would you be and how would your life be if truly the stresses of this life had nothing on you? That you were able to conquer this and rise above them. I want you to envision that. Do you see yourself actually living your best life, shining, thriving, fulfilling your destiny? What is that? That you know is impossible. We all know it's impossible to achieve that when you are under the weight, those 3 weights that we talked about. Now, the next step is for you, if you're truly committed. If you're not, then I would say go back, rewatch this video over and over again. The information I have given you is enough for you to actually go and do something. And that's what I want. Now, whether you come and work with us or not, I know that the information that I have shared with you, if you put it into practice, you can achieve your transformation. But here's the thing, if you're like me, who likes to have accelerated results, I want my transformation, I want things to happen. And you know that you would do better with an accountability person, with a coach, with a mentor, with a psychologist. And you don't have to spend, you don't have to spend years in therapy for any of these mental health problems. And you don't have to spend thousands of pounds or dollars on this to achieve your transformation. If you're like that, and if that is your desire, then I'm inviting you once again to come with us, right? Come over. And just write me an email or call me on WhatsApp, and then we'll take it from there. And you'll be joining a fantastic group of other women who are leveling up. Thank you so much. Thank you. Let me stop sharing. And I can say a nice good bye-bye to everyone. Oh yeah, some of you are asking, what's that at the back of my... Yeah, here you go. Right. When I say to you that growth is a constant journey, I have behind me here what I call the map of consciousness, and it shows you from the bottom to the top where your power lies. And you begin to have and take back your power when you're operating from a space where there is no shame, guilt, fear, anger, pride. That's when you begin to gain your own personal power. And I think we'll be talking about that more in our next session. So I'm inviting you to come to our next session where we actually begin to level up. So for today, I am saying thank you so much for hanging out with me. And I am so excited. Again, my name is Angela Karanja, and I am a world-renowned psychologist and a best-selling author, and your host for this session, the ultimate self-care, sustainable self-care strategy. And why? I can see questions they're asking. Why sustainable? We want it to be sustainable because we want it to be practical and actually usable, because there's no point me suggesting things that out of reach for the women, right? Like, I would not be suggesting for you to take time off for a month to go and do something when you have family, you have work and all that. No. Sustainable means you can do it. So here we are, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the inside. Right, bye-bye for now.